Hey, what's going on, all the peoples? Ridiculous Badger. Let me turn this down a little bit. We got an update. I know I didn't do an announcement stream last night or an announcement vid last night because I figured whatever, but here we are. So we got a few things that we're going to want to talk about today. We're going to want to talk about moon booty. That's the elephant that's in the room. And then we're, of course, going to want to talk about Galactic campaign, although there's not much that we could say about it at this juncture. And then the world event seems like it's getting a total facelift. So we'll try and go through that, and if we have time tonight, we'll even get involved in some world event matches. Let's see if they actually dropped the update. It's up? No, it's not. Okay, great. So let's start off by talking about what is going to be happening on this update. Let me pull out my informaciones. Okay. So let's talk about Moon Shadow, or as we call her a lot, Moon Booty. What's going on with Moon Booty? So for a little bit of time, people thought that Moon Booty was going to be more of a thing. Moon Booty has not really been a thing. Now she is the Galactic Battle Commander for the season. If you're in the top 80 guilds, so you're going to get Moon Booty. So she's a native A-class comm, and she has 2 short hit skills, which is great. So she's one of the most accurate commanders in the game. Of course, the most accurate commander in the game is King. The second most accurate commander in the game is Medusa. Lady and Beast, that I think is the third. But you know, Moon Booty is up there. So she's got a 20% chance to hit skill, and that has a damage cap of 120% currently, and it scales at 0.5% per level. So we might see that increase. We might see the proc rate on that go up to 40, and we might see the damage limit. The delimiter being 120% of damage. Might see that go up to, hopefully, we want that to go up to 300%. And of course, it is not silence, or skill A is not actually an ignore tier suppression skill. We would love to see that come across to ignore tier suppression as well. So currently a 20% chance to hit. It is a sure hit. It does deal direct damage. We'd like to see that increase to 40%. We'd like to see the damage limit go up from 120% to 300%, like comms like Lady and Beast and oh, I'm blanking on the other Maruko. The second skill is Spirit Sword. Spirit Sword scales at 1% per level. It's a 40% proc rate. And this is actually a unique skill in that it does increase damage, 1% per level, but then also if the target has a buff, then it does an additional 50%. So, number one, I'd like to know is, I don't know this about Moon Booty, is that 50%, is it based on the damage that you do, or is it just going to be, like, is it based on the straight math of the situation, or does it take into account the opponent's stats? So we'll have to see that. We'll have to see if it's multiplicative or if it's additive. That's something that I don't know. I would assume that it is additive. Someone can correct me. But we'd like to see this increase from 40% probably to 60%. And also, I'd like to see this increase from 1% per level to 1.5% per level. So that's Moon Booty. And, you know, great. You know, we kind of saw this coming, that they would overhaul Moon Booty, because she is in the Galactic campaign. And what else do we got? So then we got a number of things. We've got the preparation stage added for Galactic campaign, and many people, myself included, call that Galactic Battle. That's one thing. Most of this patch is about World Event, which is Galactic Battlefield, not the same thing. So for Galactic Campaign, there's going to be a preparation stage. We don't know anything about it as of yet. I believe some people have asked the devs, or the support line, we don't have a clear response as of this time. And then possibly the most cryptic thing is that they've added this character system to Galactic Battlefield. What is the character system? Got this somewhere. Okay. So the character system seems to be some way for your team in the world event to apply specific roles to your arc. Oh, are we up? Are we up? Awesome. Help! Let's take a look at Moon Booty. That's gonna be number 1. Oh, let me call in my peeps. Call in my peeps. Call in my peeps. Check shield, right? Get the important stuff done. Get this out of the way. Okay, we're fine. We're fine. Let's check out Moon Booty. A lot of us already got Moon Booty from much, much earlier. I think it might have been season 3 or 4 that she came out. Now I gotta find her. Here we go. Okay. 20% and scales at, oh, okay, scales at half percent, but the damage cannot exceed 200% of combat damage. So what they did is they went from 120% to 200%, which is not the same as other comms like Maruko, which has a limit of 300%. So I don't know. I mean, I haven't really used her that much, but why am I going down so far? But I guess we'll have to see how she does. And again, what they did, so here, they gave us 2% per level for Spirit Sword. It went from 1% per level to 2. And if the target has a buff, increase the damage instead of an additional 50% to an additional 100%. We are seeing now a lot of Cobbs, a lot of Walker Cobbs becoming Rogers killers. And, you know, that's something that, I mean, I'm not saying she's a Rogers killer. We don't know as of this point. Although one of the things that we look at is whenever we see that someone does damage to someone with buffs, we go, like, the comm that we think of, the quintessential commander that benefits from buffs is Rogers. Or at least he's the commander that's high up in the meta that provides a problem for us. So whenever we see a commander that does damage to buffs, we think of Rogers, or removes buffs, we think, is this a way to take out Rogers? And I know at the beginning when we saw a lot of these, you know, when we saw like Full Metal come out, and Full Metal is a counter to Rogers, or even, you know, when Elf came out and started to get utilized, Elf was beating up some Rogerses, you know, and we've seen now Hancock came out, and Hancock has great capability to kill Rogers. It's down the line, and we can talk about that later. We've talked about that before. But when this started coming out, there's been this tradition of Walker Cobbs that have skills that counteract Rogers, or you could throw at Rogers. And it seems kind of weird because, well, infantry are supposed to be the counters to air, right? I mean, that's what's in the that is what is in the strength and weaken effect formula. It's what's in the restraining mechanic. But we think that way. However, what's been happening in the meta is Walkers have really started to step up and take away some of that burden, or to help with dealing with that problem. So, and it actually, you know, when you first think about it, it doesn't make sense because of restraint. But when you really start to think about it, you know, actually it does make sense because Walkers have more survivability, and they could stand up to Rogers for more rounds to get into a situation where Rogers drops procs, and then once Rogers drops procs, it begins to go downhill for him. Infantry players, by and large, have difficulty with this, and their best tactic to taking down Rogers, of course, is to take down Rogers quickly. Because then if you could take down stacks quickly, he can't proc, he can't go 100% immune. Infantry have incredible pressure to get this done quickly. Walkers have less pressure to get this done quickly because they can weather the storm a little bit from Tyrant coming. So I will be interested to see if people start throwing Moon Booty off at Rogers. I mean, I guess another comm that you might use this for would be against Hancock. We've seen a lot of Hancocks pop up, so I do like the fact that they're buffing commanders that can be used as counters to commanders that maybe are incredibly high in the meta, but also are up and coming. So because of that, we get a very dynamic meta that is, you know, open to changing. Okay, that's the first. Whoa, wrong thing. Okay. So we did the second thing. Add the character system to Galactic Battlefield. What is that? An hour and 20 minutes. So I'm not going to stream for the next hour and 20 minutes. We will find out or can I do it beforehand? So let me open up my information. Let's talk a little bit about this character system. Let's see what we can figure out a little bit. And then, of course, I'm going to rely on you guys that in an hour and 20 minutes, you're going to enter into World Event. What's going to happen? It's going to crash. That's my prediction. World Event will crash tonight. And then we'll see another patch. Oh, one thing we did not talk about in this patch is hopefully we are going to see some shadow patch material here. I know that there's been a bug between Hancock and Cassiopeia, and I think that there have been another couple of bugs that devs have confirmed that they were going to fix, and they usually like to fix these things without telling us, and they just shadow patch them in, and those things are just good and gravy for us. We just don't know when they actually do it because they don't say anything, and that's not how to have a functional relationship. You need communication. Okay, so added character system in Star Wars Battlefield. Well, Star Wars Battlefield is Galactic Battlefield. Group resources have been changed to team resources and personal resources. Okay, so the resources of the previous version, they changed them to personal resources. Before they were group resources. And now they're going to calculate it for your arc specifically. So that, I know that a lot of players have had the issue where maybe they go in hard, they attack an enemy, and they have a lot of losses from it, but when they win, and they need to turn around and heal those losses, but they can't because somebody just comes in and snatches up all the group resources for healing. So now they changed that, where that's going to be calculated for your arc specifically, so you can't have leeches. That's nice. New group resources have been added, and the whole team calculates together. We're going to have to see what those are used for. I don't know. Maybe you have your own kind of well of personal resources, and only after depleting that you go into the group resources. I don't know. So they also added this weird thing. So that's not even the character system. That's the resources change. Then they added this character system. Where can we find that? Oh, hold on. So it looks like they've added a surrender function. So the enemy or you could surrender 6 minutes into the fight. That's pretty cool. I think sometimes it's very clear that it's going one way, and nobody wants to have to play through a completely terrible match. So it's nice that they added surrender. Hopefully it's a vote like a lot of MMOs have or a lot of first-person shooters have. Interplanetary battlefield motherships, bases, and strongholds can be upgraded. Each of them have 3 levels. The upgrade consumes team resources. We don't know what these upgrades are going to do. I don't know if it gives it more HP, whatever. I mean, they're putting a lot of attention onto Galactic Battlefield, which I think is very weird because it's a completely free module. I am waiting for them to start to release, ways for you to pay. Because this is a lot of development that they've been putting into it. So, okay, now we've got the character system. Galactic Battlefield character system. 6 new roles have been added to the Galactic Battlefield. The command ship, the attack ship, the defensive ship, the reconnaissance ship, the jamming ship, and the acquisition ship. This is so many. Players need to choose their own roles within the preparation time after the start of the game. If there is no selection during the preparation time, the system will assign you a role. After selecting a character, you can obtain the relevant character appearance and skills. You cannot change the character in a single game. So once you choose in the beginning, you're stuck with it. If you don't choose one, it's going to be chosen for you. Wow, this sounds really exciting. Maybe what we'll do is end the stream, and then I'll come back when it's up again, and we could go through some Galactic Battlefield. Anyway. The command ship has 4 basic skills, so that's one of the roles. The command ship role has 4 basic skills and 2 advanced skills. I don't know what that means. And the other characters have 1 basic skill and 2 advanced skills. The commander has 3 more basic skills. These skills are unlocked at the character level 1, 2, and 3. This sounds insane. This sounds so overwrought. It sounds like a completely new game. This isn't like when they gave to us the Time and Space War, and we all thought, oh, this is a game within a game. You know, spoiler alert, it's not. It's just, you know, away the fucking idol of the game. But this sounds like complex. Okay. The maximum number of characters in the same lineup, this is so convoluted, is you could have 1 command ship, you could have up to 3 attack ships, 3 defensive ships, 2 recon ships, 2 jamming ships, 2 acquisition ships. Here's what I'm guessing. I have no idea what the command ship does. The attack ship must be like your standard, you know, go out there, attack enemy arcs. Defensive ships, they've got to have some kind of a bonus to tanking, where sometimes you go out and attack, and sometimes you just garrison your arc and you wait for the enemy to attack you in world event. Recon ships must have increased sight range. Jamming ships, I imagine, decrease the enemy's sight range. Acquisition ships, maybe they take strategic objectives on the map. Attack each other to win the mothership. Okay, wait a second. There's no grammar in this. There's no punctuation, right? Attack each other to win. No. To win, the mothership can plunder the... I'm so sorry. I can't read this. So if the mothership... If you attack the mothership, I don't know if this is a new thing, you can plunder 30%. Oh, okay, I got it, guys. Okay, if you attack someone's ship, any player, I think, you can plunder up to 30% of their personal resources. Not the resources they have on their server, not their rinky-dink backwater planet, but in the world event, what those resources are. And, you know, previously they were called group resources. You get them in world event. They're specific to world event. Don't worry, you know, so much. Like, you're not going to... I mean, look, you're going to lose resources that are specific to world event. If you win, this is so weird. Instead, I think that they changed it. Where before, if you won, the enemy's arc got teleported back. I think now one of your basic skills now takes into effect. So kind of like on server or in GB, we have like Exile as an arc skill. It looks like there are going to be skills like that. Or, you know, and we have force field. It looks like, you know, like Exile, if you have it on, then the enemy gets ported. So we might have similar types of skills pop up, because this is saying that if you win an offensive battle on an enemy's ship, then they've changed what's translating as the knock effect. Changed to assault, one of the basic skills of the effect. We're going to have to see what that is, but my own prediction is that whatever your role is now going to take an impact, you know, on the strategic level on the match, whereas your commander is only going to take effect on the tactical fight that's you know, between two commanders. And I think that they're taking away this mechanic that you get bounced back, because I think people were just getting ported so much and they couldn't have any fun. I don't know. Character maps have been added to the battlefield interface. You could check the shape and skill effects of each of the characters' level 3 ship in the map. Huh. It sounds like they're making something like friggin' not Hearthstone, like League of Legends. You know? We're just going to have to see how it turns up. I think we're going to be very confused by it tonight. And the last thing that I have is added the display of match records, common characters, and pre-selected characters in the Interstellar Battlefield room. The record of the game will be recorded after the update. The pre-selected role selection will not affect the actual selection after the game starts. So it looks like you are going to get a profile in this game. This is going to be like an MMO within a game. It's going to be like, It's gonna be like one of those Dota style things, you know, where you're gonna have like your most used character, and that's gonna be listed for you on your profile. And you know that isn't gonna set what character you actually choose, but people are gonna know what your record is, how many times you've won and lost. I guess look, we're gonna have to see. This is very different, and I have no idea what it is. So, I mean, I think what I'll do is I'll probably come back a little bit later and we'll probably stream some of that. And then the last thing that we have is Galactic campaign. I don't know what this preparation stage is. I think it might be a time when you can't go onto the enemy's side. It sounds like there's going to be some time for us to set up in the beginning of the fight, and, you know, do it unmolested. My takeaway from this update is it's a lot of focus on Galactic Battlefield. You know, and honestly, this is a module in the game that I don't really play because, you know, I don't find it engaging, and I find that the rewards are too low for what it actually is. So, and the past patch, they did something huge to it too. Maybe that was a few patches ago. They've been putting a lot of development in this. It's going to be interesting to see what actually happens, you know, and if people are actually going to buy into it. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to try and come back in about an hour, and we're going to try and play some of this Galactic Battlefield, and I think I'm probably going to hate it. Thanks for joining me here tonight, and I'll see you back later, and we'll try out Galactic Battlefield together.